You remember your first day in a foreign country? I do. It was possibly one of the most awkward days of my life. I felt like I had no idea what I was doing or how to behave. I felt like I was trying to navigate a treacherous road with the wrong road map. Between my sophomore and junior year of college, I was required to take a cultural exploration trip. Armed with a checklist of cultural experiences to complete, I eagerly made my way to Camborne, England. A few hours after arriving, I was whisked away to complete my first task, viewing a local house of worship. I wasn't sure what to expect. I was still very jet-lagged, so in my exhausted stupor, I pulled on my jeans and a mauve and beige plaid shirt. After walking for what felt like 10 miles, we finally stepped into a beautiful green garden. As we turned the corner, I was taken aback by the enormous piece of glorious architecture before me. Remembering that Mom and Dad had asked me to take as many pictures as possible for their vicarious enjoyment, I began snapping pictures like a madwoman, which continued as I entered the structure. I wandered around in awe, staring, reacting, and all the while snapping pictures to the chagrin of the English people around me. I had never seen so much art. Beautiful little pictures dotted the ceiling so high up you could barely make out the remarkable details of each scene. Massive portraits lined the walls and filled tiny rooms with nothing but candlelight to illuminate them. After some time, I noticed a small group gathering at the door. Oh good, a tour, I thought as I hurried back, continuing to snap pictures left and right. Several older English men and women had gathered along with a young Scottish mother and her daughter. The tour guide walked us through the halls, pointing out various stylings of architecture, leading us to a secret window. From this window, we could see a ballet performance in the hall below. She then proceeded to take us to the roof. I was skeptical and exceptionally nervous as I stared at a wooden ladder and began asking about the safety of standing on the roof. "Of course it's safe," said one older gentleman indignantly. "It's been here over 500 years. At least where I'm from, we have something called termites, and buildings that are 500 years old are generally not the most structurally sound." I began to feel unsteady on my feet. I could see the headlines in my mind. "Student falls to death straight through 500-year-old cathedral roof during ballet recital. Dead on impact," reads the headline with a large picture of horrified ballerinas surrounding my mangled body. I began to sway, the sickening idea overtaking me. The older gentleman simply laughed. We walked along the edge of the roof, admiring something called spires from several different periods, when it happened. My footing gave way. I was falling. This was the end, I thought. My screams seemed to echo off the beautiful stone walls to the grassy grounds below. I flailed and I flapped, grasping for something, anything. As I hugged the huge, ornate stonework with both arms, I realized I was still alive. At least one of my feet was still firmly planted on the roof. It was just a rain gutter. "I'm all right," I announced to the group, who turned to watch the entire episode. The tour guide and the group of Englishmen shook their heads in disapproval and proceeded on without me. I don't remember much more about that day, but I do remember somehow making it home, feeling like I had no idea how to behave in polite society. That night, I lay on the guest bed in my jeans, trying to make sense of it all. Why did I feel so badly on the inside? I felt like I had committed some horrible social crime entirely on accident. These people spoke my language, sort of. How could I be so completely incompetent, simply taking a tour? "I hope tomorrow is better," I whimpered. "But somehow, I'm afraid it's going to be just like today," I cried as I drifted off to sleep.